in the person of Tracy Willis. Tracy A. Willis was born in Phoenix, Arizona, and is an accomplished businesswoman with a rare quality of organized and analytical thinking, which blends perfectly with her creative and others-focused personality. These skills led Ms. Willis to work for various firms, assisting chiefs of staff, top executives, and department heads with establishing organizational systems to improve efficiency and reduce costs. She has utilized her creative abilities to establish King's Kids Enterprises, under which she operates 4 companies: Sotran Web Design, a web design and social media management company; Willis Design, a graphic design company; Willis Assistance, bookkeeping and notary services; and Faith Equality Properties, real estate renovations and management. She is also the corporate secretary, administrator, and youth pastor at Home Assembly Church, and serves as the assistant property manager for Bryant Drive Properties, where she helps oversee 7 multifamily properties. Educationally, Ms. Willis studied interior design and drafting at the University of Arizona, where she maintained a 3.4 GPA until she relocated to California in 1991 and enrolled in the design program at California State University, Long Beach. While attending Long Beach State, Ms. Willis worked full-time for the County of Los Angeles, earned a place on the Dean's List, and was awarded a Pell Grant for her tenacity and focus on education in the face of financial hardship. Although financial hardships prevented Tracy from earning a degree, she has become a true student of life, continually garnering skills and knowledge that surpasses any degrees she may have accumulated. And let me just throw in as a personal note, she is my right arm in the programming department for the Central California District Council, and is an integral part of everything that we do. So I applaud her. And at this time, we present evangelist, Pastor Tracy Willis. At this time, come on, let's welcome her with a round of applause. Tracy, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. And I really hope you have your pens, your paper, have those things ready. And I want to start out by saying this session, although it can seem like it may not be for you, it's actually for everyone, because we're at this period of time where we all can use this. We're all looking for different ways to reinvent ourselves, to change ourselves, to become better. And a lot of what we were used to, it's not going to be the same. And I hear people say, oh, you know what, it might go back. Well, I like to compare to different points in history. You know, when slavery changed, did we want to go back? No. When technology came around, did we want to go back? When we became able to open our businesses, did we want to go back? No. So we had to look at moving forward as just that, moving forward, being able to take those next steps that takes us into a whole different array of destinies we didn't know about. All right, so let's get right into it. We are going to be talking about building and strengthening an online presence. I am just going to be touching on the tip of this. And yes, there are going to be people who are going to know more than me, and I am grateful for that because I can learn from them. But I'm here to share with those who may not know as much as they would hope to know, and they can take it from here. All right, so we're going to start out by just even talking about the basic definition of media, which is a particular means of communication that reach or influence people. All right, so we're going to take that and build on that, and we're going to go to what is social media. It's a mediated technology that facilitates the creation and sharing of information, ideas, to set a plan to conquer the unfamiliar. So this is what we're trying to do. We're going to figure out ways to express ourselves on social media, whether you're a person, a business, a ministry, whoever you are, this is fit for you. All right. So as I said before, we're looking at this as God has enlarged our territory. Look at it like that. Our territory has been enlarged. We're going places we haven't gone before. It's a new opportunity to be what? Joshua and Caleb. All right. So we want to check out this new land, and then we want to go out, conquer it, and then receive the promise that is set out there in front of us, right? So in the words of John Hannon, they did a presentation. I want to say it was the Illinois or Philadelphia Council. I'm mixing them all up because it's so many of them. But he says we can't keep struggling to get back to the shore when God has given us access to the ocean. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be preparing for that. And if you happen to be a pastor, I want to encourage you to aim to be that online shepherd. Online shepherd. We've been comfortable being an in-house shepherd, but now we're going to become an online shepherd, okay, that wants to reach and help others. And there's just a little bit of statistics. When we talk about churches, now this part is for churches. Statistically, they've shared that 80% of those who attend a church in a building, 80% are there because they grew up in church. They're familiar with it, and that's what they do. That's their habit. That is their nature. Then you go into another 17% really came from someone else's church. All righty. And then 3% from those, they never attended a church before. So with all that being said is we have this ability to reach people beyond that because we become comfortable with that group that is used to coming to church because that's what they've done their whole life, come to church. We're used to that group who didn't like it over there. Now they want to come over here. Now we want to jump on out there and get those who haven't been, okay? So with 96% of Generation Y are all social media people, let's go grab them. So we're going to start out with setting the foundation. Setting the foundation. That's going to be your first set of notes. It should be captioned, set the foundation. First and foremost, social media branding. All right, social media branding. Some people may be like, well, why is that where you would begin? Well, you don't want to start building a house and you're all of a sudden you've bought all of the fixtures and you've purchased the doorknobs and you have no idea where the door is going to go. Matter of fact, you don't even know the address yet, right? So this is why your branding should be the first, okay? So this includes making sure your name is the same. Your name is the same across all platforms. And I'm saying this to say, if you're trying to create your brand, and my brand may be, let's just call it ABC Cookies, okay? ABC Cookies. Well, I don't want to be on Facebook as ABC Cookies, and then be on Twitter as ABC Chocolate, and then be on Instagram as ABC Chocolate Chip Cookies. Because what happens is when you're going to present yourself and you want to let people be able to find you, they should be able to find you under one name wherever possible. For those that know me, I use myself as an example. No matter where I am, whatever platform, I am Tracy A Willis. That's it. I don't care if it was Periscope, which is gone. Amen. I think they're still around, hanging around, but you name it. Snapchat, TikTok, whatever it is. And I even have the habit of, I may never use that platform in my life ever, but you know what? I'll sign up to grab my name because I want to maintain my branding. So it's not always about the platform you will use. It's about you want to own your name. You just want to own your name. And if you're not a person who said, you know what, I may never use a domain name, that don't matter. Buy it. Buy whatever name that you're branding yourself as. Again, it's not necessarily that it's something that you're going to use, something that you're going to say, hey, I need to figure out where to point this domain. No, don't have to figure that out immediately. Just own it. And I used to give an example in all of my sessions. Once upon a time, the White House didn't see the importance of owning whitehouse.com because they were only focused on whitehouse.gov. Well, unfortunately, some unsavory people got a hold of that name. And if you would go to whitehouse.com, you were liable to end up anywhere. And that is the importance of owning and branding yourself. You want to take ownership for your name. You don't want to give someone else control of it and then they can take it. And as you're trying to build who you are in society or on social media, someone else has taken your name and ran amok. So now you're trying to counteract what they're doing. Okay. So with that being said, that becomes the next part of your branding. Now we're going to go, the next one is logo and imagery. You may not have a logo, but come up with an image that is your set image. So no matter where that person finds you, this is going to be your image. And I like to use the example of a McDonald's. Those golden arches, no matter where you are, you can be in the Sahara. And if you happen to glance across that land, you're going to see those golden arches and know immediately, hey, that's a McDonald's, right? That's how you want to try to set up your logo and your imagery. To say, hey, you know what, no matter what happens, if I have a business card, I have a flyer, whatever it is, and you happen to catch a glance at my logo, you're going to know that is me. So that's another part of setting your foundation. And other people, if you're joining this meeting and you need to mute yourself, okay? This is not a session wherein we're allowing interaction. So as soon as you come in, right now we have you set to mute when you come in the session, but some of you are unmuting yourselves. Do not unmute yourselves, please, and do not turn on your video, please, okay? So do us all a little favor and just be mindful of that, all right? Now we're going back to when it comes to your domain name. That's also when you do that, you want to make sure you set up your email address to go with your domain name. Because it's one of the things that happen is you're trying to create a brand, right? And let's say, again, we're going to go back to ABC Cookies. And I'm saying, well, you know what? I want you to reach out to me, send me an email, but I don't even own my own domain, right? So now you're sending my email to abccookies@gmail or Yahoo or wherever. Try to retain control of that as well. So go out there and create T Willis at ABC Cookies or info at ABC Cookies, whatever it is. So you want to do, and most of the time when you buy your domain name, it'll come with an email account. So you don't have to add that at expense. Get your own email address. So as you're communicating, you look authentic, because that's what it's about. You want to be authentic to whoever you're presenting yourself to. All right. So the next one is, it may seem odd to begin with branding again, but I need you guys to once again understand, putting your image out there in a set package, that's what gets you going. I see a lot of people do it backwards, and now they're trying to figure out, oh my gosh, that name wasn't available, this name wasn't available, but they're already all over social media and having to become somebody else everywhere else, all right? So those are the quick notes, a quick overview. Get the same name across all social media platforms. If you can, get a logo or a set image that will represent, and it can be colors sometimes. Sometimes you decided that certain colors are going to be you. Make that a part of your imagery. Try to make sure you get a branded email account as when you're buying your domain name. Domain names can be as low as $5. You get it from GoDaddy. Not a high expense at all. And again, most of those come with an email account. And this is the last point in there. Many people are relying on social media as their website. Not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. Because once again, you're giving away ownership of your content. If you're going to say, hey, Facebook has a business page and I'm okay with that. If Facebook decide to go away, if they decide to take control, which they already really have more control than we want to admit, but if they decide they're going to just do whatever they want, all your content is gone along with that. We already know that they can take down videos. They can take down anything they want. So the whole thing of having your own website is to have control over your content, your information. And I like to use that example again of a house. A person can own a home, and a beautiful home, and they're out giving out business cards. You know, hey, you can find me here. I got a pop-up shop on the corner. I'm going to be at the mall next week. Well, people can find you all over. They said, well, wow, you know, where's your base? Wow, well, so that's what happens. You need to create a base. That base is your website. So that's what's going to give people their basic information. Tell them who you are, how to reach you. If you have programs, if you have products, if you have things that you want to promote and sell, that's what your website is for. And when you share those items to social media, you're ultimately driving them back to your website for your sales, for anything like that. And again, you're controlling your content, right? So don't downplay having a website, because that also lends to your authenticity, okay? So when you're branding, grab their website and get that domain together and get all your names. All right, so we've set the foundation. Again, if you have any questions, plop them down in the chat and I will answer them after the session. The next part of setting our foundation is online giving. That's also a part of branding as well. Many may not think that, but it is. So online giving or online sales, whatever you want to call it. Right now, the most common ones, there are a lot. Let me be clear. The most common ones are PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle. Those are your most popular ones. However, again, they are various options. So the thing to note with PayPal, it is a 3% fee. It's about like if you go to a store and they say, hey, we're going to charge you 50 cents or whatever. That's them trying to offset the fee that are going to be charged. PayPal.me, same thing. If you're doing a PayPal.me, this rolls right back into your branding. Get your name. So don't be ABC Cookies and your PayPal.me is PayPal.me/ABC Chocolate, right? You want to get ABC cookies. So even when it comes to that, people can find you just like that without a problem. And with the PayPal account as well, get your name on your name. Cash App. That's another one that has about a 3% fee. On the average, most of these merchant service providers, they're about 3%. That's average. I don't necessarily recommend a lot of the other ones just because they have a fee plus a per transaction charge. And sometimes you don't see that until on the back end and you start to realize that you're getting less money than you thought you were going to get. That's because they have that in their fine writing. So when you're dealing with the companies that I'm mentioning, it's just kind of 3% off the top. You call it a day and you look at it as a win-win. Because I like to tell people, are you more upset that someone took $3 from your little transaction as opposed to you never got the whole transaction? Okay, so that's my minimum. Venmo, again, get your name, make sure it's venmo.com at ABC Cookies. All right. Venmo does not have a fee right now. I always say right now because these companies tend to change when they feel like it, right? But right now there is no fee to take your money from them. However, depending on the type of account, there may be a limit on how much you can withdraw. So that's something you want to monitor as well when you're deciding how, because let's say you have a business and I'm just going to use low numbers. It's not to make it sound too crazy. Let's say, for instance, you took in $1,000. Well, if your account has an $800 limit, you're only going to get an $800 withdrawal, all right? And then it's going to take about 3 days for you to get it. That other $200, you're going to have to wait for a little bit. So again, when you're setting up that account, look out for those various controls that may be in place. Zelle, there's no fee, but it may be a little harder when it comes time to track the donors. Because with your PayPal, your Cash App, your Venmo, the donors' information is all there. When they give, you can click on their profile, you can communicate with them. Hey, can you send me your address? Because if you are a nonprofit collecting money, by law, you have to give some type of a tax write-off document that says they gave to this nonprofit. All right, so with that being said, if you don't know how to reach this person, that puts you in a really kind of odd situation. Not that the IRS does not have an allowance for that, because you can have a category called unknown or unrecognizable, but that can only take you so far. So you really want to make sure you can capture the person's information. You want the first name, last name, address. That's the basic information you want to get. And so with the Venmo and the Cash App, the fact that they gave it to you and you can link back to their account and you can inbox them and say, hey, can you send me this information? That kind of keeps you safe and it helps you to stay in compliance with the law. However, with Zelle, because the money goes right into your bank account, you'll see the person's name, but that's all you're going to get. So if you happen to be a person that was out, and let's just say you were the council and you're having an event like this and you're welcoming contributions, and you say, you know what, you want to allow you to give to Zelle. Well, you've got a donation from Sally Joe. Who's Sally Joe? We don't know her. That's where Zelle can be a little more tricky. But if you have a private business, it's still great for you, because whoever sent you that money, you've already did some type of paperwork and transaction prior to that Zelle payment. But when you're a nonprofit, most of it is not in exchange for goods or services. So there is no paper trail to tell you who was Sally Joe, okay? So those are the things that you want to keep in mind when you're setting up your online giving or online purchases, whichever one you want to call it, because again, this session applies to all of those categories. Again, any questions, put them over in chat. Social media platforms. We're moving right along. It's only 12:05 and I will be wrapping up by 12:30 when it is time. Social media platforms, right now, most of us know about the most common ones: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So now I'm going to be talking about what's a good time to post and some of the ways you can use these platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, it is suggested that you post 2 to 3 times per week. Now, this is after you've built your brand, you got your online giving. Now you want to try to get that audience, and you want to keep that audience. That is where some of us fall off. We create a business page or we create a personal page, whatever it is we've created, and we don't interact with people. We throw out a post and we like, oh yeah, I put something out there. And I see it happen a lot, and it's kind of, I'll call it sad, because you have some people who, they really have a large circle of influence, but they never come back to say anything. Even if you just like what the comment is, that helps build your brand, because the average person just wants to feel like you are accessible. That's what they're really after. Are you accessible? Are you a person who can communicate with me? That's what you want to be after. So that's what I'm going to be covering in this segment on when you post and how to interact. So again, we're under social media platforms and interaction on that level. So again, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, 2 to 3 times per week, but no more than 4 times per day, because you don't want to be the bugaboo on social media either, where you're posting so many times a day that the person just eventually blocks you, because that can happen as well. And when you are posting, we're getting back to branding. All this is still under branding, okay? Just be clear. All is still under branding. Use hashtags. Hashtags are basically a way to get you into the flow of whatever else is happening. So if I put up a post about cookies and someone else puts up a post about cookies, I don't know about them. They don't know about me. But if I say hashtag cookies, whoever clicks on that hashtag, and we're going to go old school, # on the phone, because that's how we knew it growing up. If you happen to be somebody who existed before the 80s or so, #. We call them hashtags now. That's how you are able to share data across platforms. So if you're like hashtag cookies and I'm a person that comes along, I say, ooh, hashtag, and I click on that hashtag, it's going to show me all the posts that are related to that particular hashtag. So that's why hashtags are important, because if you're putting out something, and let's say you happen to be talking about improving your health, and you want to call it healthy tips, healthy habits, that's your hashtag. So if you're out here sharing how to lower your cholesterol or anything like that, or how to stay fit, hashtag healthy habits. Whoever clicks that, who's looking for healthy information, they're going to find you, because they don't know who you are. They don't know you from Adam. There are so many millions of people on social media. You're trying to figure out how to get in their face. And a hashtag is how you can get in the people's face. There is no real limit on hashtags, but you don't want to get crazy and have 30 hashtags. You have more hashtags than you have words in your post. So be succinct. Look for ones that definitely will get the attention that you want to get. And don't be afraid to have a hashtag that includes your brand. Because for me, if it's something that I want people to tie back to me, I'm definitely going to use hashtag Tracy A Willis. I'm going to do that, okay? Now, when it comes to YouTube, that's another one of those platforms that it has a high value. Again, it is still free. Take advantage of it. I use YouTube when it comes to videos, just like with this one you're looking at. And at some point, I'm going to take this whole video, put a header on it. So when you look at it, you're going to see the opening header, and then I'm going to post the video. It's going to be on YouTube. That's another way to make sure you're being seen by more people than your regular Facebook account or whatever you are normally used to using. That's just another way to get in people's face. And it tends to get a lot of attention on YouTube. Hootsuite. Hootsuite is one of those programs, and it's H-O-O-T, S as in Sam, U-I-T-E. Hootsuite is one of those programs that allows you to post to various social media platforms all at one time. Because this is what can become a challenge. You're trying to say, hey, I want to build myself. I want to make sure I stay in the flow with people, but I don't have time to go take this, post it on Twitter, and then go take the same thing, post it on Instagram, and then post it on Facebook, and ... So Hootsuite actually allows you to tie all of your accounts into one central location, create a post, you can schedule it, you can press send right away, or you can do what they call auto scheduling, which they kind of look for the best time of the day to shoot it out for you. But again, that allows you to get on all these platforms and get all this information out there and stay on top of it, because that becomes a downside of many people, in that it can be time consuming, very time consuming. So Hootsuite is one of those little shortcuts to kind of help you kind of get through that. And they also include LinkedIn. So if you check that out, then you'll be able to see all the various platforms. Easy texting, and they have club texting, they have all kind of different, but this is how you can, once again, we're on social media platforms and interaction, to create a database on being able to send one text message to everybody. I will say, like at Home Assembly, we have it. I've set another ministry up on it recently, because now that we're unable to see each other's faces, and Zooming every day or Zooming once a week isn't necessarily realistic. It isn't. So you have a program like an easy texting, or it's a variety. You gather all the phone numbers, because if you happen to be a business or a ministry, you probably have these numbers. You can export them out of whatever program you're using, and you can upload them into these programs. You can create groups once you're in the program. You can have a women's group. You can have a prayer group, an encouragement group. If you happen to be a business, you can have a group of people who like to buy chocolate chip cookies. You can have a group of people who like to buy, sugar cookies. But what it lets you do is it lets you send a text message to all of those individuals. Okay, so with that being said, that's one of those other really important services to help you stay connected with people at a time when, again, seeing them in person is not safe, and being on Zoom every day or multiple times a week or a month just isn't realistic. So look into easy texting or a similar program to be able to send out messages to all of your people at one time. All right, so now we're going to Constant Contact. It's an older program. Some people use, I want to say it was like SurveyMonkey or something like that. There's a lot of those as well. It is a program that allows you to email people, send them content. And I like to refer back to like Constant Contact and easy texting because they aren't necessarily tied into social media. They're not. These are tied into the person's email address, the person's cell phone, their text. And I say that because a lot of people we know just are not on social media. They're not going to do it. They're not comfortable with it. So they're never going to sign up. They're not going to create an account. They're not going to see your Facebook go live. They're not going to do it. And that goes back to the thing with having a website. A person will be a little quicker to go to your website and watch whatever feed you put out there. Because again, with Home Assembly, I use them as an example because that's where I work. We still have Ustream. We still have Facebook Live. Because some of the members, they're not going to open up a Facebook account. They don't want to. They don't even want to deal with Facebook. So they're comfortable going to homeassembly.org. They can do that. So you want to give the people a different avenue to reach you and not just think that everybody is on social media. They are not. So part of building your online presence isn't only about social media. That's why I didn't call it building and strengthening social media. It's online presence, because your online presence does include your website. It does include anything that's not put your hand on it. So yes, that can also include the Constant Contact. That could also include easy texting, which allows you to reach the people again without having to rely on a social media account. And we're in our 15-minute wind down. Again, if you have questions, pop them right over in that box and we will get to them. All right, our next one we're going to be talking about is Podbean or a similar podcast. This is another one of those where the person may not be comfortable going to a social media, signing up for a social media account. You can actually Podbean or podcast, and you hear a lot of very celebrities like, oh, I have a podcast, and we're having various conversations. Right now, I use Podbean to upload the sermon. And I want to be clear. If you happen to have a ministry and you're uploading, do not include music. If you have a license from CCLI, which is Christian Copyright License International, it is allowing you to sing the songs. It's allowing you to even print the songs. It's not allowing you to rebroadcast those songs, and that's called rebroadcasting. This is why people have to be careful when it comes time to sharing their information on social media. And I want to share my whole service, and we're including the choir. If you don't have those appropriate licenses in place, you can get hit with a very nasty copyright lawsuit. So you want to be careful about that. If you are streaming, look into your streaming company and find out what are their allowances and who are their sources for licensing music. In the case of Ustream, I can tell you they have their own division that had, no, excuse me, I want to go back. CCLI, I want to be clear. CCLI has their own division of licensing for online and for streaming. So in our case, we say, hey, we stream to Ustream and we stream to Facebook Live. So we have to pay for a separate license that allows us to stream music out, okay? So again, if you don't have that, now that we're in this day and age of more people online and more people are looking at us, have those licenses tight so you don't get in trouble. All right, so back to the Podbean. Try to stick to uploading sermons, or you may have an interactive dialogue. If you're a business, you want to talk about your product, you want to interview other people who have a similar product. This is where Podbean comes in handy. You give that link to a person, you can share it on a text message, you can share it however, and they can just sit and listen to everything that has just happened. Okay, so quick overview. That was Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's your kind of standard social media. There are others, but those are kind of your standard. Your YouTube for being sure you can share your videos and people can see them at a larger platform. Hootsuite, which is good for being able to share information simultaneously across various platforms. Easy texting or club texting or a lot of these texting programs, so you can reach people who aren't necessarily on social media. They may or may not be, but you can send them information right to their phones. Constant contact, which allows you to send an email to everyone simultaneously and include images, all that kind of stuff goes right to their email accounts. And then Podbean, which allows them to just listen to whatever it is that you have recorded and you have put out there. So now we're on to streaming platforms with my last 13 minutes. Streaming platforms, Vimeo live stream, Vimeo bought live stream or vice versa. IBM Ustream, YouTube, these are all various streaming platforms. Some have costs, some don't have costs. It all depending on what you're going to do and your reach. So you want to look into all of them. YouTube and Vimeo, they serve multiple purposes, and that they can be a repository for all of your information, for your videos and things like that. People can find you. They're also good for being a streaming service. YouTube is still free to stream. I think Vimeo/live stream is, again, look into them because things change all the time. But you can stream to these platforms, okay? And then they're also good for content creation. One of the gentlemen who we all know and love, Pastor Chris Foster, he's been doing good at creating these little video snippets. That's content creation. That's what that means. You're creating content. You're creating something you can present to the people that keeps them tied to you. So that's where these various platforms come in handy in allowing you to do that on a simple level. Most of it walks you through it, keeps it really simple and easy for you. Now, for those who are a little more familiar with streaming and you just want to be able to do a little more, like when you see a video comes up and there are words that flash across the screen, like someone comes up and says, Tracy A Willis is talking about online. Those take a separate program that you purchase. And then once you own it, you own it. I will say that is the benefit because they don't make you go back and buy licenses over and over again. You own the product. Right now, your popular ones are Wirecast, OBS, O, B as in boy, S as in Shirley, XSplit, the letter X and the word split, and there are other ones. So basically these programs allow you to download, it's like an app, basically you download to your computer and then you set it up to where you log into all your accounts. You know how I said on Hootsuite, you're able to log into your various accounts, your Facebook and your Twitter and your Instagram, LinkedIn, and when you press send, it goes to all those accounts at the same time. That's where this Wirecast, OBS, and XSplit do the same thing, but with live stream. So you plug in all your various accounts that you have and you want to stream to these various platforms. And then once you set all of that up, and depending on your level of proficiency, being able to create overlays, as they call them, overlays as in, you know, something fans across the screen and then my face comes back in, or the lower third, which means that's the information that's on the bottom of the screen. So if a preacher's preaching and all of a sudden the scripture flashes across the screen, that's called a lower third. If you become more creative with those, these platforms allow you to do all of that. If you're at the beginning stage, you just want to be able to click the little go live button, and now you are casting out to everybody. And this is where a product like Zoom, it becomes a little more limited. You cannot multicast with Zoom. So this feed right now is going to Facebook Live, and it's for those who are here in the Zoom with me. But I can't turn around and also stream this over to YouTube, and I can't. So Zoom has this, like the one-trick pony in that arena. I'm sure they'll change at some point, but for now, they don't allow it. So that's where these other programs will get you into that. And it becomes helpful, again, if you have a business and you want to be able to get out there and do your little commercial or whatever it is, and you want to shoot it all out at one time, that's where those come in. Zoom, I've already said on Zoom, we're on it now. We're all becoming comfortable. And the thing is, there are numerous other platforms just like this. There really were GoToMeeting is another one. The Google Classroom has one. There are different ones that exist that it's just that Zoom is that lightning in the bottle. It caught that crack and was able to get good traction. So we're more familiar with it. If you don't have to have a Zoom license to watch Zoom, but if you want to put out something, you do need to buy a license that will allow you to talk for longer than 30 minutes. You can get a free account, and after 30 minutes, they're going to shut you off, or they're going to start to shut you off, and they'll limit some of the things you can do. But if you want to be able to present, you need to buy a license and be official about that. All right, and then the last one under platforms, streaming platforms, a prayer line, freeconferencecall.com, OneBox. Zoom actually, believe it or not, this can serve as that, because you can literally send a link and set it to no video, meaning you can only talk. The downside is a lot of times with Zoom, it really wants you to use the app. That's really what it wants you to do. So not that it's a bad thing, but if you go with Free Conference Call or OneBox, any of those, get that prayer line or that number people can call in, and that's another way to stay interconnected. Okay, so believe it or not, we're still in the branding. You believe that. Posting times. When it comes to these platforms, make these notes. The best time to post is the top of the hour. So 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, like on the o'clock. That is one of the best times. The other one, with that being said, top of the hour, here are the hours. 8 a.m., 12 noon, 3 p.m. When it comes to the daytime, those are three best slots that will get the attention. And psychologically, it's kind of playing into the work schedule. Now everyone's work schedule is so flexible, may not be as on point, but it still is appropriate. By 8 o'clock, whoever's heading into work or whatever, they're going to burn a little time. Noon, that's the lunch hour. They kind of got a little time once again to kind of sit around, chill, and see what you got going on. 3 o'clock, some workers have already mentally checked out of their jobs. They may not get off till 5 or 5:30, but they've mentally checked out. So 3 o'clock, they're kind of looking for that break in their day to kind of help them. So that's why 8 a.m., 12 noon, and 3 o'clock can be your top slots. With more people being at home, you can probably really capitalize on the 7 a.m. slot, because a lot of people are waking up early, and the 7 p.m. slot. And I say 7 p.m., and I'm going to say strictly like for Pacific time, Eastern time, because when you get to places like Arizona or that mountain time, their prime time begins at 7. So it becomes a little awkward. But when you're in these other metropolitan areas, prime time on television is 8 o'clock. So that 7 o'clock becomes a good slot to get in and get that person's attention before they move on to their favorite show that's going to come on at 8 o'clock. All right. So within these last 7 minutes, I'm going to cover a few small items. Plan it out. Now that we've talked, we've set it up. We got the foundation. We've got the branding. We've got the platforms, and we're ready. Plan it out. Number one, location, location, location. I say that to say, when you're getting ready to go live, you have to look everywhere around you. Before I started this live, I got to look all over. Is there stuff sitting on the table? Is there things hanging off the wall that shouldn't be? You want to pick the most prime location to make sure that when you go live, people will watch you. Because whether we like it or not, people shop the background of wherever you are. That's why a lot of people do a drape, because the drape kind of diverts the attention. But some people can't do that. That's another big thing you got to put up and take down. So location, look for that ideal spot, and make sure you check your surroundings before you go live. All right, light. I'm using a lighting ring right now. Have good lighting. Don't go live in a dark spot. It makes it really, really hard, or be in a well-lit room. All angles aren't good angles. We've covered this, and I've been asked multiple times to cover this. I'm gonna stand up to do this. If I happen to be going live from my phone or whatever, I am not supposed to be going live like this. You're not supposed to see up my nose. You're not supposed. If you're working from a computer, bring the camera up. If you're working from a phone, hold that phone up at a higher angle where you can look into that phone, okay? Please, I keep getting people saying, Tracy, please tell people to hold up their device or move the device up higher, because I'm tired of looking up their nose, or they're looking sleepy, or it's so many things, and it just becomes a distraction. It's the truth. It becomes a distraction. So look up and loosen up. Be yourself. Be yourself. I'm being myself. If I try to be someone else during a presentation, you're not going to get it. So I got to be me during the whole presentation, because you're going to hear me. I got to shine through, okay? And then, can you hear me now? We had a situation yesterday where we had a little hiccup, and a lot of times we're ready to go live, but we don't have good bandwidth. We don't have good Wi-Fi service. So now we're in this period of time where we're trying to reach more people. Get a better speed on your internet. Don't nickel and dime out if you can avoid it. Money is really tight. As they say, my money is tight, my change is strange. I believe it. But You want to be sure you get a good bandwidth. So when you're trying to do stuff like this and you got to do presentations and you got to talk, people can get you. You're not going to get a whole lot of static because the feed is so bad. Work on that, making sure you have a good bandwidth, a good microphone. Interaction, I've said that before. Interact. We're down to our final 4 minutes. Interact. Talk back to the people. If it's something like this, talking back will stretch the time out. But if you know you got time to interact with people, if you're posting on social media and a person asks a question, answer the question, like their comment, and believe it or not, the more you interact with every post, social media as a whole, Facebook, who owns Instagram, Twitter, they move those things to the tops of the feed. So more people will see it because they see that you care about it. If you care about it, they care about it. So you interact and it will keep popping up on people's feed and more people will see it. So don't just go live and be like, I'm going live and I'm finished. No, talk to people, interact. Like today, I think our minister Shekinah, she may be interacting on Facebook right now because I'm doing this. Interact, talk to the people. And my very last tip, check the mirror. Check the mirror, okay? You want to make sure that you have pulled in all that you need to pull in. You want to make sure that you have no friends talking to the people online and you don't know that they're talking to people, but they got the attention of the people because you have not pulled it tightly together. So check that mirror before you go live. Thank you so much for joining. I left an entire 3 minutes. That's the final tip. Be timely. Respect people's time. If they were here to join you, be sure you respect the time that they've set aside to join you and don't disrespect that, okay? Well, I'm going to cancel my spotlight. I'm going to take it back down to a minimum. And so I can see other people who are out here. Did anybody have me raise your hand in the chat? I still have control of the screen. I can't really say I can answer a lot of questions because I can't answer a lot of questions. But if you put questions out there, I'll see it. We have about 2 minutes. If you raise your hand, I'll see if I can get to you. If you can raise your hand. And as you see, I am not the singer. That is not my calling on no level, not the singer. All right, we had a nice show out. 43 people. Hey, come on now. Give it to yourselves. Give it to yourselves.
Tracy,
right.
Tracy, we have some questions from Facebook.
Okay, I'll push pause. While you guys are hearing these questions, we need you to support this ministry on centralcdc.org, or you can go straight to paypal.me/centralcdc. Again, please support this ministry that allows us to do things like this so we can keep sharing good content with you. All right, thank you for that, Minister Shekinah Douglas.
Yes, and Sister Tracy, I think people are still coming in with their video. If you can, I think you still have control to mute
Are they raising
video.
their hands? Because I don't see, I have all muted videos on my side.
Okay, so there was, let's see here. Okay, well, there's a question from Facebook that someone wanted you to repeat the sites for the prayer lines again.
Some of the prayer numbers, when you want to do that, freeconferencecall.com. freeconferencecall.com. The next one, OneBox. ONEBOX, OneBox. Zoom, the one we're using right now, is if you notice when you set up an account and you get ready to share, you see a list of phone numbers because they're allowing you to call in also, and you should be able to see a number in your account. Now with free conference call, they're going to give you a generic number. You can pay an extra fee to get a toll-free number, and it's a nice look, not required, but it's a nice look. OneBox is more of an all-inclusive program. So it actually is in your phone as an app. I use it for my company. I have a toll-free number, and OneBox allows me to, people can direct themselves. You call this 1-800 number, press 1 for this, press 2 for this, press 3 for this. This works out for a lot of ministries that may not be as big or can't be in-house or a business, and the person can direct themselves like an auto attendant, okay? And it also accepts text messages. You can send text messages from that. So OneBox for me, that tends to be my vote because I'm more comfortable with it. You also can do free conference calls from that. Once you have that account, you have your own conference call number, and you can have as many people as you want to do an online conference call.
Okay, and I think that will wrap up. I think someone else had one more question. Let's see here. Nope, I think all those questions were answered. So where can we find this, once you are finished, where can we find this this video, this training?
This video will be on Facebook Live for a while, and probably around about 4 o'clock later on today, it will be on YouTube. So the Central California District Council has their own YouTube page. You can go there, look at any conference we've done since we've been doing conferences, and all the videos are there, including the 2 from yesterday are there. So that's youtube.com. And you're going to go to Central CDC, the number 1. We end up having to get a number 1. And I want to put that caveat. When you're trying to brand, sometimes your name isn't there. It's okay to accept defeat in one area. But if you can get 99% of those areas correct and make sure you got your name, you're good. It's going to be 1 or 2 areas. Twitter is good for that because Twitter has limited characters. So they'll kind of truncate you into the names that you're trying to do. But with that being said, youtube.com/Central CDC, the number 1. Okay.